all set. Are we live there? We are live on Instagram.
Here's to hoping we have a good connection. It's raining like crazy outside.
Okay. We're going to let a few people get on.
Casey's going to grab a beverage. She's been working hard. You're going to listen to our ice maker. It's really loud.
Did you drink my other little Diet Coke?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
There's more out in the fridge.
I don't want to go out there and get it. All right, hold on. I don't want to get you. Let me get up some. Okay. Woo. That was a little rough. Hello,
Hey,
everybody.
Summer.
Today has been a... Can I make that? There we go. That might be it. Okay, there we go. Today has been a travel day for us. So, I'll explain more of that later.
A wet, nasty.
Yes,
travel
it
day.
is flooding rain. And so we have like been in the rain, out in the rain. Be sure to say hello and tell us you're here if you're watching. And also, we would love it if you would share, if you would like, and welcome to the lovely weather in the Northeast. Exactly. What do we need to do about those?
Just listen to it beep.
If you would also like and share the video. Hi, Matthew and Kendall, if Kendall's with you. Hey, Jimmy and crew. If you would be sure to like and share the video, that way more people can join us for our lives each week. You can let them know. I'm assuming we are good on both platforms as far as we're not hanging up service-wise. It is literally flooding outside. It's been like 52. Hey, Catherine! It's been like 52 degrees today. So it does not at all feel like May in our world. Rainy, cold, just kind of a yuck day. It was dreary the whole entire time. Oh, Caroline just got out of the shower, so she's saying hello. It was just dreary and yucky all day today. So, anyway, that's been our day today.
Yes. Fun.
Yes. So anyway, let us know if we have service interruptions or issues along the way. I don't think we will. I think we're okay, but just in case, let us know. So yes, today's been a travel day. So we left New York City this morning. We are en route to Boston, and we have made a little stopover to get some things done that require water and sewer. So when we're at a campground that doesn't have sewer, like for example at our campground in New York City, we have water and electric, so we have a continuous supply of electricity, obviously, which is no issue, and water, which is no issue. However, that campground does not have sewer at each site, which means we cannot dump our tanks. So it doesn't matter how much our continuous supply of water is if we don't have anywhere to send it. So for us, that's not an issue for our black tank, which is basically the toilet. We can go for a week like that. It's our gray water that starts to get tricky for us. So that's our sink water. So anytime we cook and have to wash dishes, anytime we shower, the washer, anything that we do. So all of that to say, we are going to be this next week without a sewer connection as well. So we are stopping over at a full hookup site tonight. Everybody's going to wash their hair. I'm running laundry.
Me included.
And so that will get us where we can be prepped and ready for another week of or another handful of days with no sewer.
We do have a tote that we can put our gray water in and then pull it, the wagon, do the walk of shame with the wagon full of water and dump it at the dump station if they have one, which New York had one. Yeah. So I did that 3 times. So that was
in a week.
108, roughly 108 gallons of water that I took over and dumped. But it's
And that's without us using the washer. Like, I didn't use the washers because
and we were conserving water as far as showers. We were doing quick showers, and
we didn't cook, you know, a whole lot. So
yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Catherine. Yeah, if you're hopping on, say hello to us. Don't forget to like and share. We tell you all that as far as campgrounds, just because that's something I didn't know before our lifestyle. So it's just an interesting fact of how we have to do.
Makes things interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, so we stopped over. Hey, Kenny, and crew, whoever is watching with you. But so anyway, we're in a stopover. Here's another reason we made a stopover. There was actually two reasons. One reason was for our sewer.
Where we made the stopover was strategic.
Yes. So, obviously, probably the most efficient. Hey, Karen, how are you? The most efficient route between New York City and Boston is not through Rhode Island. However, if you'll remember, we accidentally, in the fall, left a hole on our map and did not go through Connecticut or Rhode Island. And so we had our whole map that we have, our travel map with the stickers of the states that we visited on the side of the RV, and it had this hole for Rhode Island and Connecticut.
It was tragic.
It was tragic. No. So we have made a point to come along the coast on I-95. Interestingly enough, I-95 has slowdowns and stops up here, just like it does down there. So we have come through on I-95 and made a stop for lunch in Connecticut, a stop for the night in Rhode Island. So we will be adding those two states to our map.
Yes, we will.
So.
And it was a strategic stop in Connecticut as well. Not just to put a sticker on the map, but I had heard about one of the oldest pizza places in the country, and it's very highly rated, and it was on this route as well. It's right near Yale University. And
New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah, so we got to try that out, and it was very good.
It was amazing. It was interesting, though, because we got there at what time? 2:30?
I don't remember.
2:30. It wasn't like we got there at a meal
2:30
time.
2:30 probably.
Yeah. And it was still, the restaurant was still,
yeah, it was full.
Not like slammed. There wasn't a wait or anything, but it was still full on a Monday afternoon. So that was interesting to me. I wasn't expecting that.
Popular place. Third oldest in the country. So kind of random, but it was good.
They've been cooking pies since 1925.
1925. That's a long time.
That's not apple pies either. Those are pizzas, but it's called pies. They ask you. I've noticed that at both places. We went to a pretty iconic place in New York City as well, and both places it's about a pie, not about. What, Caroline? Will you make sure you're not on my hotspot? I think you are. It just popped up again.
And check your biscuits. Although we had some of the best pizza in the world for lunch at 2:30, she is having pizza again, but she's having it on a biscuit with sauce and Colby cheese and bagged pepperoni.
Homemade.
Didn't sound good to me, but whatever.
Yep. So about our week.
Yeah, let's rewind.
Yeah, we'll recap our week. I think we came to you last from
Philadelphia. We were kind of a late night after church and everything last.
Stop for.
I was on the Wi-Fi. That was my fault.
Now Instagram is trying to reconnect. As soon as we got Facebook. Okay. Are we still good on Instagram, Matthew? I know you said we were good on Instagram. But make sure that reconnected. Give me a thumbs up or something. But anyway, back to our week. So we came to you last from Philadelphia, where we had a late day and a fun day with church and gotten our cheesesteaks, and so we were late getting on here. But then on Monday morning, we headed out to New York City.
Yeah, so we made the drive. It wasn't that
Matthew
far.
Says we're good.
Fortunately, it was a fairly short drive, and so Philly to New York City, and we got there and we got set up. And we had a pretty big surprise when we arrived.
That's right.
Many of you have probably seen a clip of that from the stories or whatever, but when we arrived in New York City, Casey opened the door to the RV, and there was groceries everywhere, all over the floor. The refrigerator had opened up, and groceries had dumped out of the refrigerator, and the one major casualty was a gallon of sweet tea.
The whole gallon.
One of the pastors told us that was our tax for bringing sweet tea into New York, and so evidently they don't like sweet tea in New York, so they made us pay a huge tax of the full gallon. We didn't mind losing the gallon of unsweet tea, but having it all over the floor was a sticky mess.
Yes, it was a big mess. So we spent, we spent a couple hours working on it, and then we had to scoot. We had dinner plans that night, and it was actually kind of nice reprieve that we had to just walk away. So we ended up finishing cleaning up that on Tuesday morning. But
yeah, so we had a chance to take.
Well, I feel like we should say before we transition, we always strap the fridge. We have a Velcro strap that we strap the fridge with. And for some reason, this is the first time that strap did not hold. And I have my theory of why it didn't hold, but we will hope that that's the last time that it doesn't hold also.
Absolutely.
So anyway.
Yeah, so Monday night after that fiasco, we got to jump on the train and head over to Long Island City and have dinner with Patrick and Katie. We got to take them and their daughter Natalie out to dinner and hang out with them. Just spend a little bit of time in their neighborhood and walk down along the river. It was a cool evening catching up with old friends and getting to catch up, hear about how things are going for them. And so that was a fun Monday night as soon as we got into the city.
Yes, so for those of you who might not know, Patrick was the church planner that we sponsored. Were you about to, is that good? Keep going?
Yeah.
Patrick was the church planner that we that Northside still supports. Northside and Tifton still supports, and that's how we first met him. So we led a couple of trips. Kevin led a couple of trips in 2018 and 2019 to his big carnival in the fall. And so we first got to know Patrick through Northside and those trips, and be able to kind of get introduced to and see his ministry there in New York City. So he has become a good friend over the years, and so it was fun to be able to catch up with them.
Yeah, so that was Monday night, and then Tuesday the girls caught up on a little bit of school, having been traveling and everything. They got started on school for the week, and I went over to Brooklyn, and I had never been to Brooklyn. As many times as I've been to New York City now, I had never been to that area, and so got to go over into Brooklyn and meet with a missionary over there. He's got a new ministry in the city. It is called Food for Brooklyn, and he is working over there. The ministry kind of just started during COVID, and it has become a full-time thing now that COVID's over. They're continuing on with the ministry. Right now they're serving, they're handing out food every other week, and so twice a month they're giving out groceries, and they have some partnerships, and so it was cool. We hung out. He took me to a Polish restaurant. His neighborhood is heavily Polish, and a lot of influence from Polish, and so we went to a Polish restaurant. First time I had authentic Polish food, and it was pretty good. I don't know that I'd rush back to eat it again, but it was good, and definitely enjoyed it. He showed me all around his neighborhood, and then we just hung out in front of his kids' school until he had to pick them up, and then I jumped on the train, headed a couple blocks, and walked across the Brooklyn Bridge for the first time. So that was kind of cool. About the time I was, I don't know, about halfway across the bridge, I got a text from Blake, and he said, hey, he and I had been talking about the whole process of applying for 501c3 and becoming an official nonprofit. And I got a text from him, hey, look what came in the mail. I got it as soon as I got home. And it was a letter that he had received from the IRS, similar to what we had received a few weeks ago, for his approval from the IRS to be an official nonprofit. So that was exciting to be able to celebrate that with him. And so yeah, Tuesday was a good day. Great to catch up with him. I had met him the last time through the city, and so it was good to be able to catch up, hear about the new ministry that he started, and it's going well.
Yeah. So then Wednesday we ended up.
Excuse me.
Well, see, there's just now pollen up here for all of our Georgia
Allergies
people and
are
South
rough.
people. Pollen is just now Like, the flowers were in full bloom in the city. The tulips were, they were beautiful, and pollen has just now gotten up here, so Kevin has struggled this week with pollen. Wednesday was neat because we were able to meet back up with Patrick on Wednesday morning for a little while and see kind of some of the area of one of his new churches that he is planting, working on building in the financial district. And so we got to walk around and see that. It was really neat. We ended up, so we take one train we walk a couple blocks and take one train from the campground that's in New Jersey. So we have to take what is called the PATH train across the river. And then we normally go straight to World Trade on the PATH train to the World Trade Center. And from World Trade Center, it's a hub there, and you can pretty much catch any metro train from World Trade. So most of the time we left, we went straight to World Trade. We met Patrick there. One of the neat things he did, he told the girls a little bit about what we were going to see on Wednesday, because Wednesday afternoon, our afternoon was going to look a lot different than our morning, and you'll hear more about that. And so he also showed him, he said, "Do you see all these trains that are coming out of here?" And he said, "I like to think about all of these train lines being pathways to the gospel and ways that we're spreading the gospel in the city." And it was just really neat, the care that he took to kind of explain and show the girls especially certain things. And so we got to spend the morning with him, walking around, seeing a few things, seeing where his church is meeting, and where his FIDI church is what they're calling it.
FIDI, Financial District.
Yeah, so.
And interestingly, the Financial District is one of the areas where there is very little church, gospel, influence. Bible preaching church influence. Yet it's one of the fastest growing areas of the city as far as residential is concerned. Many of the office buildings, the offices have, they're all working remotely. They don't need the office space anymore. And many of the big office buildings down there are being converted into apartments. And so it's one of the fastest growing residential areas, yet there's no gospel preaching churches down there. And so he has a unique opportunity and a unique setting. They are actually meeting in a vault of what used to be a bank.
It's the oldest bank building, I think, in the city, is what he said. And it, think the traditional big columns on the front of it. Now, the top half of it is residential, and then the bottom half is a steakhouse, a very nice steakhouse. And so in the basement is the original vault. I mean, complete with, it looked like it came out of all I kept thinking was like the Ocean's movies, the Ocean's movies where they had the different things.
Ocean's 11.
Big round door, you walked in the room and it was the pull-out, safety deposit boxes, and it was a really, really neat room, neat to see. So
he showed us around that area, showed us some of the different things down in that neighborhood, and we got to hear just his heart for that area of the city as well. And then we jumped on the train and went from one extreme, the financial district, where literally billions of dollars a day are funneled through there, and so many transactions go through there, being Wall Street is right across the street from where he's meeting, and so literally millions of dollars. And then we rode from there up to the Bronx, which there's still millions of dollars, I'm sure, not billions, but
different industries.
Very different industry going on up there. And so, but we had a really unique opportunity to be able to meet and ended up working with the Send Relief missionary from the North American Mission Board, who is up there. He's been in New York City for 18 years, just recently partnered with the North American Mission Board. The name of his ministry is Graffiti 2, and it's a community ministry as well as a church kind of combined. And
yes, so he is the North American Mission Board Ministry Center also in New York City, which is where the Send Relief aspect comes in. And so we got to go up there. We actually got to meet some of his staff. He has there's a journeyman that has served with him and is nearing the end of her term there. So we got to meet Hannah, who's been there for a couple of years, some of his other staff. One of the really cool, neat facts, for those of you that remember and can think back, the year that Lifeway did VBS, that was all about the Big Apple. I forget what year he said it was.
2010 is what he said.
Was it that far back?
Yes.
It was all about the Big Apple. Anyway, he and his dog were like the feature in the promo videos from their ministry there in New York. And so that dog was kind of the first, he called it their first
missionary dog.
Missionary dog. And that dog has since passed away, but they had just a few months ago gotten a new dog, Jocko, that is kind of their ambassador. And
Jocko was cool. Real chill dog. Walked around. They have an after school program, and so the kids love seeing the dog when they come in. And it was interesting. All the kids were delayed in coming the day we were there. And we found out that the reason was that all the schools in the area had been shut down, like on lockdown, because there was a gunman that was in the neighborhood that the police were trying to track down. So that explained why we saw police in the neighborhood, and streets blocked off and that kind of thing as we walked from the subway and kind of made our way to the ministry center. So
it was funny. He just basically,
it wasn't that exciting when we saw it. It became more exciting when we heard.
He kind of sloughed it off. He was like, welcome to the Bronx. We laughed.
Yeah. So we ended up getting to help them out. We met him, heard about the ministry, and just kind of put it out there. Hey, if there's anything we can do to help, we're here. We've got time. Whatever we can do. And they had a lady that was putting together their newsletters to send out, and I don't know, it was a lot of newsletters. It had to have been
1,000 or 1,200 copies of this newsletter.
Yeah, it was a lot. And they had one person working on it, and so we just jumped in and helped. We worked on it until she had to leave. She was going to another job, and so when she left, we kept on and finished it up, and it was a neat opportunity for us just to be a blessing to them and be able to jump in and help.
We got it all folded and all stuffed, and so all they had left to do was label.
They just had to label and send it off.
It's 8:25, and we're only to Wednesday, so we need to book it.
I know, because you took so long at the beginning talking about other stuff.
So that was Wednesday. Thursday, we got a really cool opportunity and found out that, hello, Miss Greer, good to see you. We got the opportunity, we found out that the Yankees Stadium, or the Yankees, I guess the Yankees are sponsored by MasterCard. And so there are certain games that if you pay with a MasterCard, you get $5 tickets.
So it's like 6 games out of the year, and it happened to be Thursday, and we didn't have any meetings scheduled for Thursday. And
it was an afternoon game. Late
Wednesday night, I looked at it, and they had tickets available, and again, $5. Can't beat that. I think
decided
with
we had
fees
to
and
go.
everything, it was like $40 for our family to go to the baseball game.
Go to the Yankees game.
Yeah, so it was a 1 o'clock game, and
so we got to do that. That was kind of a fun experience to show the girls.
It was neat.
The girls had never been to a Major League Baseball game. It had been a long time since I've been.
And they are now in love with baseball.
No. Anyway.
Which, I'm not a huge baseball fan, but anytime I can go to a major stadium of any kind, I like to. And so Yankee Stadium, obviously, very iconic.
Pretty Americana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was Thursday. Friday, we had kind of another just chill day.
Hey, Chris.
Finish up the week of school. And so they finished up school, and then we just went into the city and grabbed pizza for dinner. I had heard about a place.
Area that we had never been of the city.
Yeah, Greenwich Village. We had never been to that area of the city either. So lots of new experiences on this particular trip.
Yes. You had heard of this place, plus we got a personal recommendation as well, and it turned out to be superb pizza.
Yeah, easily top 2 pizza joints that I've ever been to.
It was fabulous.
Today probably being a close third to those 2. But John's of Bleecker. And there's a guy
Bleecker Street
that I watch his pizza reviews. I do not recommend him, but he does good pizza reviews. He's just not a it's not a Christian pizza review.
He doesn't have kind language all the time.
Yeah, so I enjoy seeing where he's been and what scores he gives. And this was his highest rated place.
Yep. And I understand why.
Ever.
It was delicious.
It was
good
fantastic.
Food. Good food. And then Saturday, we got to spend a big chunk of the day. We met for lunch. Another church planner who has been in the city about 5 years. And it was really neat. We were excited that this worked out, and then it just really was ended up being a great day because they have actually their youngest daughter is 15. And so she came too, and our families got to hang out, and we thoroughly enjoyed our afternoon with the Chambers.
Yeah, so we had lunch, and then they just toured us around their neighborhood, and you know, I was kind of walking with him, and Casey was walking with his wife, and we were just getting to hear stories of relationships that they have and interactions they've had in their area because of relationships at school, in the apartment building where they live, just all the different ways that they've been able to meet people and pour into their lives in so many different ways. It was incredibly encouraging to just hear what all they're doing. And so they toured us around, and then a lot of times, especially during COVID and everything, they met in Central Park, and they continue to meet occasionally in Central Park. And so they toured us around and showed us some of that area as well. And it was just a really fun day of getting to spend, we probably spent 3 hours with them on Saturday, and it was very encouraging.
Yeah.
We were able to encourage them. They were a tremendous encouragement to us, and neat to hear their stories and just build a new relationship that I tried to meet with him the last time we were in the city, and it just didn't work out. And so we were both excited that it worked out this time to be able to meet together and get to know them.
Hi, Grandma and Grandpa. So yes, it was really good. We really enjoyed that on Saturday. Fun day for everybody. The girls had a big table. We had the adults at a table, and so it was a good day. And then Sunday, we knew Sunday was going to be a full day.
Yes.
And so we packed up. Another interesting part about the city is that the trains don't all run on the weekends, and so transportation,
or they run weird schedules.
Transportation takes a little bit longer on the weekends. So we knew we were going to have hour plus train ride in the morning, and that we might not get back to the RV, might not get back home until our day was completely over. So we packed accordingly.
Yeah, and so we were able to go to Bridge Community Church, which, if you remember back in the fall when we went through New York City, we were able to help out with a fall festival that was going on. Michael Hill and his church, Bridge Community Church. So it was neat. The church that we had worked with last fall and then been praying for a while now, to be able to go and to be able to worship with them. And then Michael and Savannah is one of his associates that works there at the church, one of the staff members. And she was able to go to lunch with us and Michael's two daughters, and we just had a great time again, getting to hang out with them, and it was a really good time.
Over the years, we've gotten to know Savannah as well, because Michael, Bridge Community was a church plant and kind of a send-off out of New City Church, which is Patrick's church. And so we had worked with Savannah on our carnival trips back in 2019, 18 and 19? 18, I think. And so we've enjoyed getting to know her over the years, too. So it's amazing, too. You get all the way to New York City, and so many of these people have connections to the South and connections. Savannah's from Alabama. Her family still lives there. Steve and his wife served in Alabama for years. It just...
So, like, we drove through Tifton on our way to Disney World.
Yeah,
like,
so
wow,
it's amazing, the connections. So then we had... Our original plan for Sunday was that we were going to do Bridge Community in the morning, and then we were going to go with Patrick and Katie to his new church, to Fidei, at 4 o'clock. They were kind of having a fellowship service together. But as it turned out, there are still some capacity restrictions in the city as far as COVID for how many people you can have in a certain space. And so he actually had some of his regular people were bringing visitors, and he knew that he was getting close to his capacity restrictions. And so we said, we will stay away.
When you bring 6, you push the capacity anyway.
Yes. So we did not want to take any seats of people that might be being introduced to Fidei Church for the first time. And so we texted back and told them, look, we hope y'all have a great service. We will stay, not out of your way, that's not the right, but we'll just leave space for those people who are coming for the first time. So we were excited for them that was kind of their scenario. So anyway, and then we got the opportunity last night to cash in on, which is why we couldn't go live, to cash in on a Christmas gift, and we went to see Aladdin on Broadway, and it was fabulous.
It was fantastic, and I'm not being sarcastic. If you're watching this and thinking, oh, a Broadway show, I'm sure Kevin loves that. If you know, what did I do with the senior adults all the time? We would go to Valdosta and go to plays. I like plays. I love the theater, and big productions. So it was incredible, and definitely one of those experiences that we were excited to be able to share with our girls and give them that experience. And
it was a really fun night. So.
It was a good way to cap off our time in New York City. And so we made it back pretty late, got back after 10 o'clock, and then made our way, got a good night's sleep, and hooked up in this morning.
You have to sign a log at this RV park in New York City. Some of you may remember us talking about this in the fall, but you have to sign a log, and you have to be out by 11 o'clock. So I signed the log at 10:58 this morning. So anyway, we
always like to push things as close as possible.
We were all set though,
and we have gone way too long.
Yes, we've gone way too long. Kept y'all a long time, but we did have a Miss Krieger said y'all been busy beavers. We did. We had a busy week, but it was a really great week. It was so cool the way it turned out. There's 5 boroughs in the city, and we actually met with churches and church planners in 4 of the 5 boroughs this week. Yeah,
Chloe asked which one we missed, and we missed Staten Island. So we've been to Staten Island, but we met with someone in the Bronx. We met with someone in Manhattan, Queens, and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So those are 4, and then Staten Island's the 5th. But then Steve's church was on the Upper West Side, which we had never been to that side of town either.
Of Manhattan.
And so that was interesting to be up on the north end kind of Central Park. We had always been on the south end, never really gone beyond that. But some neat things, showed us where some famous people lived. And
yes. So cool this week, pray as we settle into Boston. We will be in the Boston. One of the fun parts about going to Boston is that we have hometown folks in Boston that we get to see and hug their necks. And so we are excited to spend some time as well with TJ and Kelly this week, and as well as get to reconnect with some people that we met in the fall, as well as some new people. So anyway, that's where we'll be. We will keep you posted as far as where we are next Sunday night, and we will hope to see you next Sunday night.
And Miss Greer, I just saw your comment on there. You are right. There is a lot of need in Louisiana, in New Orleans, and I
already told her where they need to go eat a po' boy.
There you go.
So anyway,
all right.
Don't forget to like and share the video. As usual, if you have questions or are curious about other things that we have done or want us to expand more, always feel free to ask. We look forward to seeing y'all next week. Have a great week.
See y'all later.